Hey there, I'm Crystal, the content director and commercial product photographer for Crystal Clear Photography. I'm coming to you this week talking to you about what's in my camera bag. As a do-it-yourself business owner, or even just the curious entrepreneur, everyone always wants to know, what exactly do photographers use? So I'm diving in real quick to what's in my camera bag that I use on a pretty regular basis. Okay, so let's dive into the camera bag. So I'm going to pull out each of the lenses that I have here. And these are the ones that I keep with me the most. So I'm going to go over them real quick just so you can kind of see what my favorites are. And if you notice here real quick, I am a Nikon gal. I chose Nikon many years back when I started my business and I've always stuck with it. This is the D610, which was my first camera body, and I have kept it because it's always good to have a backup camera, especially when you shoot a lot of photos like I do. So I always have this camera body as one to go back to just in case I ever need a backup or my other camera needs a tune-up. So that's always one thing is with me is the camera body. That way also if anything were to fail during a photo shoot, I've always got that extra camera body on hand. Going through my lenses, I'm going to start with my favorite. This is my go-to, the 50mm lens. It's something that I keep in my camera bag everywhere I go. It's actually the lens that I shoot with the most. I use it about, I'd say about 70% of the time on all of my shoots because it gives me the opportunity to have enough width when it comes to a brand shoot so I can get wider shots with more detail in there. But it also lets me come in a lot closer to get some of those cute detailed shots of hands on the computer, or maybe the makers who are, making their body butters or their scrubs and things like that and want to capture that detail up close. That's why I keep this guy on hand and use it the most. 50mm also works really well in a smaller space. So again, this is my go-to lens. I actually have two 50mm. That way if I have to send one for maintenance, if it happens to fall or my camera bag gets set down hard, which unfortunately happens because I've got kiddos, I can send one off and then I've always got one on hand. That's how important my 50mm is to me. The next one that I have is my 35mm, and 35 obviously is smaller than 50, so it's going to allow, again, for me to take a wider angle shot. I use this a lot in the studio that I shoot out of because the white room, while it is a decent size, still doesn't have a whole lot of depth at every angle. So sometimes when I'm taking shots of brand photos, I like to be able to have a little bit more space in the picture. So I shoot with a 35mm just to make sure I have enough white space for you to be able to add graphics and all of that fun stuff. My next one is my 100mm lens. This is a macro lens. So the macro lens is important to me and I always have it on hand, especially for my product shoots. Because you never know when you're going to want to capture that tiny detail. The tiny detail could be something like the texture in the body scrub that you have. It could be the close-up of the jewels that are in the jewelry pieces that you create. Little tiny things like that that are very important that help you tell the story and tell the clients how delicate and how perfect everything is what we want to use the macro lens for. So I always keep this on hand so whenever I need to really get in close to those detailed shots, I have this bad boy to help me achieve that. And lastly, but certainly not least, is my 85mm. The 85mm, I love this lens because it too is perfect for brand shoots. I don't use it as much on my products because it's more of a portrait lens. So I use it for headshots of the makers and business owners that I work with. I use it a lot for those brand shoots. It's just a real crisp, clean cut. The 85mm means that it's going to crop in a little bit closer, so it really does work well for those headshots that you're going to be needing for your bio or your social media or your LinkedIn profile. So that's my go-to for that. And it's one thing that I always keep with me. So if I ever need to take a quick headshot for any of the makers that I'm working with, then I have that on hand. So there's my camera bag. That's everything that I use on a pretty consistent basis. There are plenty of other lenses and options out there, but these are my favorites. And the brand that I use the most is Nikon, but you are welcome to choose your personal preference. Now I'm going to go ahead and pack my bag back up. So there you have it. You've seen the inside of my bag, my favorite lenses, and the tools that I use on a day-to-day basis. So now I'm going to head back to working with my clients. If you have questions, need more tips, more information, something you want me to elaborate a little bit on, make sure to leave a comment below and I will get back to you right away. Or you can click subscribe and stay tuned to the weekly videos with all of the content, details, and information for how to do it yourself or how to hire a professional to do it for you.